What you're about to hear is raw. These are honest conversations about healing, mental health, and the weight we carry. While we are mental health professionals, this is not a substitute for therapy. The views shared here belong to those speaking, shaped by their stories, not by their institutions. Listen with care. Take what you need.
Just tell me one stupid thing you did at 15.
15, not 15, but 16. Spent the night in a
That's
cemetery.
What?
Spent the night in a cemetery with,
Go ahead.
no offense to my Caucasian viewers out there, but I spent the night in a cemetery and I was the only black boy. Only black one.
Oh, Lord.
Bunch of Caucasians. In Arkansas,
Yeah,
by the way. So,
that's
yeah.
scary for a parent. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about.
My mom and dad definitely know I didn't do that. They thought I was at a friend's house spending the night. But yeah, we went to a cemetery, Mom. Sorry. I don't know why.
Wait, this is the first time you're breaking this?
Yeah. My parents don't know that.
All right, what up, people? Welcome back to the Shift to Heal podcast. It's Jonathan Caesar here, licensed professional counselor. I got my man Terry here with me.
Hello, what's up, y'all? Terry Jenkins Jr. back again. Licensed professional associate, supervised by Justice himself.
I got Mimi over here in the cut chilling.
What's up, everyone?
Yeah. All right. So today, our topic for today is they think they grown, but they still yours. So we're really talking to parents out there, right? About kids 16 whatever. Some people think they're grown at 40 but they still yours. But we ain't talking about them. We keeping it to your high school babies and your young adults, right? So Terry, I just want to kind of kick it off to you to start and just kind of tell me a little bit about what you think about this topic and how does it resonate with you?
Well, first, since we're on the topic about children, I just want y'all to throw this. I want to throw this out there to y'all. I did have a different shirt today to kind of switch out. Cause my man Jonathan, he loves switching the shirts up. I left the backpack at the crib with the different shirts today, so I couldn't switch for this episode. But I just want y'all to know, you know what I'm saying, that's what happened. Speaking of kids, though, the reason I couldn't, because my daughter, she came out the last minute with the, Daddy, I can't squeeze the lotion. So I had to run back in the house and squeeze it out for her. She going through this weird bug, itchy phase right now, which I cannot wait to see out of. So yeah, I had to accommodate on that, and I left my backpack. So I ain't dirty, y'all. I ain't dirty. It's just, we shoot episodes in the same day. I couldn't switch my shirt, but that's a fly shirt right there, by the way. Y'all see a shirt.
I appreciate it.
Black, yeah, I like it.
Black all day, every day.
Every day. But let's get into it real quick. First suggestions for all the parents out there. And it can be tough, right? I have a newborn. She's a month and a week now, and I have a 5-year-old. And I can only imagine, they're both girls, so I can only imagine when they get older. But the first rule of thumb, I feel like, is give them space, improper space, right? You have to understand, especially when you're dealing with teenagers and young adults, that they're growing into who they feel like they're going to become, right? They don't want someone to mold them and shape them and form them to who they believe they're going to become. They want to be able to go through that process by themselves. So at the end of the day, when they're 25, 30, they can look at it and be like, okay, this is who I am. And I'm this person I am today because of me. It's a choice, a decision. So you want to give them space, right? You want to respect their space. And maybe certain conversations that you really want to have, especially around that age, the sex conversation, protecting yourself, probably talking about alcohol use, drug use, marijuana use. You want to have those conversations, but at the same time, you don't want to overstep and make it uncomfortable for them or make it seem like you're pushing this unnecessary pressure on them, or they may not even be dealing with any of that stuff, and they're like, why are we having this conversation? I'm not interested. So you want to make sure you give them that space to operate so they can still be themselves, right? You don't want to seem overbearing, over controlling, because when you do that, they're just going to lie to you and push you away. So you want to give them proper space. That's number one, at least in my opinion. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to talk to the parents out there, right? Because I'm living it, right? I have a 15-year-old daughter. So Terry has his children, but they're a little bit younger. So I'm at the age of give them space, right? What you're saying, give them space. But as other parents know, that is hard.
Yeah.
That is difficult because you can reflect on yourself at 15. I want everybody to think about them at 15. Just tell me one stupid thing you did at 15.
15, not 15, but 16. Spent the night in a
That's fine.
cemetery.
What?
Spent the night in a cemetery with,
Go ahead.
no offense to my Caucasian viewers out there, but I spent the night in a cemetery and I was the only black boy. Only black one.
Oh, Lord.
Bunch of Caucasians. In Arkansas,
Yeah, that's
by the way.
that's
yeah.
scary for a parent. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about.
My mom and dad definitely know I didn't do that. They thought I was at a friend's house spending the night. But yeah, we went to a cemetery, Mom. Sorry. I don't know why.
Wait, this is the first time you breaking this?
Yeah. My parents don't know that. It's a lot of stuff they don't know. But yeah. In my grown age, yeah.
Okay, so that is a great example, and that's kind of what I'm talking about. So it's scary as a parent to give them space because we know
Yeah.
when your daughter is 15, you know when you were 16, you spent the night at a cemetery. My dumb ass go spend the night at a cemetery. That's not going to sit well. I want to go around the room though, real quick. Mimi, do you have anything? You don't have to share something that you haven't told your parents.
I think I keep that under wraps for now.
Okay, all right. Justin, oh Lord, go ahead, Justin.
Go
What's the
ahead.
question, bro?
Something stupid you did as a teenager.
Oh, it's the reason why I'm a therapist.
Okay.
I would go in between the bodega alleyways and talk to people that were on drugs.
Okay, so it's all of this sounds dangerous, right? So as parents, we're terrified based on our experiences, right? So for my example for my child, like I'm super like school. I've been checking her Skyward every. I looked at it today, like Skyward, making sure your grades. She's a great student, right? Does
Let people know what
wonderful stuff.
Skyward is.
Oh, that's the.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh, my fault.
All right, you
See, talking as a parent, parents of certain districts know, right?
Yeah.
So Skyward is basically now everything's online with report cards and stuff, so you can see all their grades and everything and keep track of it.
Okay.
There's a few other ones. There's different districts use something, so you can see report cards and what grades they get for a test. So I can call and be like, "Hey, yo, what's up with this grade? Like, why you do this?" So,
Yeah.
but she probably needs some space. Like, I'm probably doing too much. Like, why are you so hard on my grades, right? Well, me at 15, 16, what was I doing? Failing everything, right? So it's my fear kind of is led by my fear. Like, no, you got to make A's. If you don't make A's, I'm like, I barely made C's, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, you better make an A. So I see. Oh Lord, I hope she don't see this because then she gonna try to.
But you're not
Take
telling
it
the
back.
story. Tell us the story. Why you really afraid?
Oh shit. Okay. So all right, we'll go. All right, let's see. We'll start in ninth grade. Let's go to ninth grade, right? So that's about 14 years old, 15 years old. Ninth grade, I went to school. It was hard. I thought school was stupid. Failed a couple classes. All right, cool. You take algebra again in 10th grade, whatever,
Yeah.
right? We'll do it again. This was stupid. 10th grade, I go to school. It's really stupid. I don't want to do anything. I don't know why I'm here. What am I going to do? I'm not going to be an engineer. Guys, I'm a therapist. I knew I wasn't going to be an engineer. Never needed this algebra class. Still don't. Right? Anyway, whatever. So 10th grade, I just failed everything. I'm just going to school to if I got some new Jordans or something to be able to let the other kids see that I have the Jordans too. That was pretty much the main goal of school. Fail everything. 11th grade, I'm not going back. I'm cool on this, right? So I enrolled in some this was a long time ago before online and everything. So it was some school you did, some fake school for kids who drop out, basically, right? So I did that. I don't know why my mom let me do any of this, right? But I think it was a lesson in it, right? So this is give them some space, right? So I do this. I get a job at the airport. Right, so all my friends is going to school, so I'm still hanging out with them, right? I'm still going to the games, I'm still doing stuff. They going to school. I got a job like an adult, so I'm 16 years old, going to the airport with people with kids that's stressed out and stuff, and I'm working in a smoothie shop in the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever, time passes. This shit is annoying, right? Because I want to be in school. The girls is at school, they not here. It's 40-year-old women. I'm 16, right? It's 40. It's nothing interesting here, right? I want to go back to school, but I needed that. I needed that space to go out there and screw up. And my mama let me go as hard as I could in the wrong direction. But let me tell you what happened. So after I realized, this this ain't it. I asked my mama, look, I want to go back to, I went to Nimitz High School. I said, I want to go back to Nimitz. Like, let me get back in there, yo. So that January, I go re-register for school. You know, I'm in 11th grade. My dumb ass is classified as a 9th grader because I didn't do any work.
Yeah.
But now I'm like focused though. I'm super focused. I'm like, yo, I'm about this, right? So I get in there. I take all these summer classes, like 4 or 5 classes at like a ACC summer classes in high school, do all this stuff. All my friends graduating. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not because I still got to take a few more summer classes. So I get to do the little, the makeshift graduation. It was a very smaller graduation in August of the people who didn't get to walk with the rest. So all of that, I don't know why I'm telling this story, but you know that's kind of my story. But you know, it's to me why I'm saying it. It kind of speaks to the space thing because I feel like if my mama would have been like, "You got to do this," I'd have rebelled against that so hard. I wouldn't have listened. I would have just I don't know what I would have done. So
probably would have never went back to school.
The fact that I was able to go out here and crash. Literally, I got in a car wreck too, in that same amount of time. Literally crashed the car. They had to like take the door off to get. It was crazy, right? So I had to go out here and crash to realize, one, I knew I couldn't survive like in the streets. I knew I wasn't no thug or nothing like that. I knew I wasn't gonna make it out here, on the block. That's not me. So I knew I had to like education. I knew I wasn't gonna make it as a laborer, like hard work. Ain't my style. Like I ain't trying to do that. So. All right, I gotta go to college. I gotta go to college. So I was able to realize that though, and then go do those things, which takes me back to my daughter who's excelled in school since she was born, right? Is you know, extraordinary in everything that she does. But I'm still like, yo, we need them A's, right? With the fear of like her falling off. But sometimes it's irrational to be hovering. I feel like she is gonna have to crash too. And whatever that lane is, her crash would be different than my crash. But I got to give her the opportunity to crash. And I feel like parents, sometimes we can't walk our kids through things. We can't hold their hands. We have to let them go out there and figure it out. We got to create adversity.
And I'm gonna be real. You don't have to, in this world, you don't have to create adversity. Adversity gonna come. You just have to let them go through it. And even now, and again, I have a 5-year-old, but even now I have to catch myself in small things to be like, no, let her do it. Let her do it. Because I'm not, I hate saying it. It scares me to say it. I'm not always going to be around. You know what I'm saying? I'm not always, when she gets 16 and she got little boys whispering in her ear, and when she get 18 and 20 and 25, I'm not going to go to college with her. When she started being, you know, she loved gymnastics. When she go on her gymnastics trips, I'm not going to be on the bus with her with the other kids or in that locker room with them other girls who tease her. I'm not going to be there. So I have to teach her how to operate and live when I'm not there. So when she come to me and be like, Daddy, my hair itching and my body itching. Instead of me running upstairs to get the lotion, pausing my game and run up there and do it. Baby, don't you know where it's at? Okay, go upstairs in the closet and get it. Spray your hair down. Go get the lotion. Squeeze it. Put it on yourself. You have to teach them how to be adults. Because if you hover over them all day, all throughout their life, when they become adults, when they first go through adversity, it might be the last time they go through it. They break down. Go through severe depression, you know, isolate themselves, and in extreme cases, commit suicide because they don't know how to handle life. Life is just too hard. So you want to be able to give them space so they can figure out, especially when your child is young, when they are teenagers, when they are young adults. You want them to bump their head then so they have time, 1, to come back from it, and then 2, to learn from that so they can apply it later on. So that's why that space is important, because if you're hovering over them and doing everything for them and making sure, you know, nothing bad happens, that day that you're not there and something bad happens, they're not going to know how to react to it. But instead, if Daddy not home and my hair start itching, I know just go upstairs to the linen closet, get the hairspray and spray my hair down. I'm not frantic. I'm not panicking. I'm not, what I'm going to do about my hair? I know how to do it because guess what? My dad just gave me space enough to go do it.
I got a real life example to kind of like you shared with the hair thing. Something else I think is difficult for parents to not jump in, right? To see something happening, and I don't. I'm gonna say it, especially women, right? I'm gonna say it because I feel like they want to jump in, they want to say, they want to protect, right? Men too, though. But I have an example with my daughter. So I was standing back, but I saw the interaction, right? So I like my kids in interactions. I just like to see how they figure it out. Like somebody pick it up or whatever's going on. I like it to be it's handled between kids. Like they figure it out. If it's nothing crazy, there's no need for me to step in. So my daughter, my younger one, is 8, right? What I'm trying to express to her, and parents, please teach your kids to mind their own business. So I'm trying to really get her to learn to mind her business. Right? It's a struggle for her. She hasn't got it yet, but certain situations will teach it to you. So we're at a track meet, and I'm over ducked off. So she goes and does whatever she's doing. So when she comes back, she talks to the other girls in line and is telling them like, hey, if this is your third time, like, no need to tell them nothing. Like, it's not your space, right? Telling them like, if you don't have to be here. She's just oversharing, right? Doing too much, not minding her business. The one girl looked at her and was like, what, you think we stupid or something? Right? So I'm watching. I was just watching, so she just like looked at her like, what? Like, and walk off. And I was like, she needed that, right?
Yeah.
She needed to experience that. Now, if I'd have been over there walking with her or holding her hands or doing something, like, you need to experience, mind your business. Like, if these people, they didn't ask you to go tell this girl nothing, so now my daughter, she didn't really look embarrassed or nothing, but it could have been an embarrassing moment for you because this girl called you out, basically, in front of all these other little girls, right? But it's just sometimes parents, we just got to step back and let kids do kids stuff and it work itself out, and they learn how to move and maneuver in these situations. So
that was just an example.
That's a really good example. I got a question for y'all, though. So what do you think works as a parent and what doesn't work? In terms of like giving them space and not giving them, like, how do you know if you've given them too much space?
You know, I seen a Life 360 commercial that was real cool. It was like everything was blowing up and like all these bad things in the mom's mind was happening to this kid, and it was like Life 360, right? So I think that, and if y'all don't know what Life 360 is, that's an app where you can see where your kids are and stuff. I don't have that for my kids because they're too young, but a lot of parents do it for like kids in college and stuff. So I think giving them space, having conversations with them is important. Giving them space, but also letting them know that like you're still there. I don't feel like they deserve full freedom. And that's why I brought up the Life 360 app, because it's like, and today you don't need just full freedom. You don't need to be 16 doing what you want to do, going where you want to go, driving your car where you want to drive, going to see who you want to see, spending the night wherever you want to. Some kids be staying at their boyfriend house. Or like, what are we doing? Right? So I feel like a parent should have some sort of connection and know what's going on. And I think it starts early. I feel like you got to raise your kids in phases, right?
Thank
you. You got the young phase, like, I don't know, 1 to 10, where they're learning values, they're learning morals, they're learning how to be a person, they're learning kindness, they do a lot of this stuff at school. So they're learning these things, right? And then you got from like 10 to 16, where they're kind of figuring out on their own now. Like, you've taught them all these things, kindness and compassion and stuff, but now they're in middle school and they're dealing with bullies and they're dealing with different situations and people being rude. And now they're learning how they want to handle their kindness, their whatever you taught them, they're learning that, right? So that's a confusing phase. And then they got like 16, that's where they think they're grown, but they're not, right? They think they're grown, but they're not. So I feel like as parents, the stuff you did from that 0 to 10 is going to come back out to show 16, 17, 18. So you have to trust your parenting from young. So don't be a shitty parent for the first 10 years of your kid's life, because then, you're going to have to deal with that later.
He hit it right on the head, because I was literally going to say the same thing. Like, you have to trust your parenting. That's how you know what's too far and that's how you know how much space to give, because you can trust your parenting. I grew up a certain way because my parents trusted their parenting. So I didn't, my parents used to like go out, have fun. They didn't care what time. I didn't have a curfew at 16, 17, 18. But it's also because they knew Terry wasn't trying to have no sex at 16, 17, 18. Terry wasn't into drugs. Terry was into Naruto and soccer and playing Call of Duty. They knew who their child was because of how they raised their child. So they knew. So I could say, Terry, go out and you don't got no curfew. Now, if I was, if my dad knew I was coming to him finding condom wrappers and stuff, my dad probably wouldn't be like, go out and have fun. He probably been like, be back at his house at 10:30. Because if you stay out past 10:30, then you probably doing something you ain't got no business doing. And my mom's found, marijuana pipe or papers or Rillos, she probably wouldn't be like, no, be back at home at 10:30 because she know if I'm out past 10:30 again, I'm doing something I ain't got no business doing. So it's about, one, like you said, making sure you helping them develop their morals, their values, their standards between 1 and 10. And that way, when they are 16, 17, you know who they are, know what values they have. But then also, it's knowing your kid. Because what one kid may do, the other one can't do. I grew up in a household of 4. My mom and dad could tell me that. My mom and dad can tell Ariel that. My sisters, they can tell Ariel that. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't. They couldn't tell Trey that because Ariel and Trey, they wouldn't like me. They wouldn't. Ariel, shoot, my sister was doing stuff before I was doing it. I was like, when you start doing this? Like, what is happening? Yeah, what is happening? I'm the older brother here. And she's like, yeah, I've been drinking. I'm like, what? You took shots? When? I already know how liquor tastes, but So you have to know your child and know how to treat them. You know what I'm saying? So that's the most important thing: being involved with your child, man. And I know, trust me, I know as an adult who has a job, still in school, got this that we go on coming from podcasts I do a lot, but I always make sure to take out time for my kids, spend the time with them, be there for them. Whether it's playing Barbie dolls or tea or going to a game, watch movies, make sure you spend that time with your child so you can help them develop and then also help know who they are. So when they are young adults, it's easier for you to be like, okay, I can trust you to do this, but I know I can't trust you to do this,
Yeah, I shared my story of school and just how the whole thing went. Even before then, I've been suspended several times and sent to alternative schools, all of those things, right? But my mom always held on. First of all, she's been my biggest supporter ever. Yeah. Huge hater too, but huge hater. But like she's always. It don't matter what I did. She always knew like you're gonna be fine. She always telling me like you're gonna be good. Like you're good. And it was always that thing. So my mom was very supportive. Knew me, like how you said, knew me. I wasn't getting into nothing crazy. I ain't really had no I had a lot of freedom, but I wasn't doing nothing. I wasn't doing no drugs or nothing. Like I might have cut up in school, but it was always support. Always, you're gonna be fine, right? So now, fast to me, right, with a 15-year-old, I gotta take that same approach. Like I did what I was supposed to do when you was 8. Like I told you about things like now, because now you're at a phase of life where you're in that phase where you figuring your own thing out. Like what am I into? What do I like? What do I want to do? I don't want to listen to my parent, right? But did I give you the things when you were younger that I can trust you? And I personally feel like, yeah, you good. I can fall back because I you know what to do. Like of course you're gonna make mistakes. You'll screw up. She do stupid stuff, right? But that's being a child, right? She hopefully doesn't spend the night in the cemetery, but I'm sure she does stupid stuff, right? Yeah. So, that's what we are.
It's kind of funny that you guys mentioned that because same like you, Terry, my parents pretty much instilled a lot of like the things I believe in when I was really young. So like going through high school, middle school, I never really had a rebellious phase or anything. So like I was never getting into trouble or doing anything wild. So they did give me that type of freedom. But I feel like the freedom really has to come with like being a parent that is hands on, like not just letting your child be out in the wild and doing whatever. And like they had their own ways of showing support, which sometimes I wish that they would have been a little bit more emotionally like supporting of the things that I did instead of like showing up to like I was in band. So like showing up to a game and seeing me perform, but then also saying, well, why do you do this? Kind of thing. Yeah. It's like, you're supporting me, but then you're also backhandedly saying, well, why are you doing this? This is such a waste of time or yada yada. So it's like, yes, you supported me in that aspect, but then you also said some like backhanded compliment that you could have just kept to yourself at that point. So it's like, giving them that space and freedom, but also supporting them, like, you know, verbal affirmations or whatever it is. So I can kind of relate to that, but then also on the other side, I'm like, dang, I wish I would have like been a little bit more like praising of the things that I were doing, even if you didn't understand if it was like something important. But you know, those things that I went through kind of brought me up to where I am now, and like being able to be successful when, you know, they didn't get to finish high school because they were like during a generation of like war or whatever, so they didn't get to finish their education. So I can understand from their perspective, like education has to come first for my two kiddos that I'm having in a new country where I don't know anything about being an American. So I feel like in that aspect, they did a great job of raising me and my older brother because we turned out very successful in, you know, our own sense. And I always make fun with my brother. I'm like, dang, they raised such great kids. Like, they should be more grateful, whatever. It's our little inside joke. But yeah, just bringing it back to everything. I just kind of wish in that aspect they would, you know, show a little bit more like hands-on support, even with like giving space and freedom. So.
And it's definitely a balance, right? You want to make sure you are supporting hands-on with your children. You don't want them to feel like I'm just out here doing whatever and my parent don't really support me or understand. You've watched the show, you probably know the story. I played soccer. My father, you know, Corey, he was a great college football player. Played strong safety at Henderson State, was a beast, was a monster. And he really wanted, you know, his sons to follow in his footsteps to play football. I sucked at football. It's trash. But I was great at soccer. And I remember, even though my dad did not understand soccer, didn't understand the game, didn't understand the rules, he would still show up to my games. Every single home game, he was there. I would look up in the stands and see him. And that meant so much to me because when I first decided to just play soccer, the one thing in the back of my head, and the reason I kept trying to play football was like, I wanted to make him proud. I wanted him to be happy. And he didn't really care as long as I was happy, no matter what I did. So just seeing him come to the games and watch me play soccer, I felt that support. He would say after the game, you know, he would say things because he would watch me, you know, throw the soccer ball from literally inside the end zone to the other half of the 30-yard line with accuracy at somebody's feet and be like, you would have made a hell of a quarterback. But at the same time, the fact that he was showing up and being there and watching my games, that just meant so much. So I want to throw that into their two parents. Make sure you're supporting your kids. It may not be something that you understand, but it's not about your understanding. And honestly, you might not want to hear it, but it's not about you. It's about them. It's about their growth and development, especially nowadays. Everything's different in school, right? You know, you got the people want to be influencers, people want to be streamers and gamers and YouTubers, whatever it is. Make sure you're supporting your child properly, because when you show that initial support, that's when they, believe it or not, they'll actually come to you for advice and guidance because they feel like you're on their team instead of you not being supportive. And when something does go wrong, they don't want to come to you because they don't see you as a part of their team. They see you as a part of the problem, or you're the opposing team, you're the enemy. And so be very supportive, give space, proper space, and understand that they're young adults. They're going to grow up, they're going to bump their head, they're going to make mistakes. The most important thing for you as a parent is to be there and support them. And that's it.
Yo, I agree with you 100%. I think support helps kids receive criticism.
Yeah.
And parents going to criticize no matter what.
Yeah.
we all share stories. I can share a million stories. I can share stories of how I criticize my children, right? But with that support, just how Mimi was saying, and you were saying, with that support, you can take the criticism and it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Right? You can go through with it. So, all right, I think that's it, man. We're just going to wrap this one up. I appreciate y'all for checking in on us. What is this? They think they grown, but y'all keep parenting, keep doing a good job. Thanks for tuning in to the Shift to Heal podcast. Peace, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace out.
Peace.